The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, MorrisMediaLive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
Cali Sportsman, WDC is now on your radio. Coming live from the Bay, yeah, that way. They talk sports all day, LA. Dropping knowledge, high school, college, trying to score, play by play. NFL, NBA, NHL, that's right, you name it. They gon' bring it to you live. Talking sports and entertainment. From the famous and the, you name it. Cover all sports, from the football.
All right, good evening. Welcome to Sports Selective TV. I'm your host and moderator. I'm Fagran, a.k.a. WDC. I want to thank you for listening in today. It's April 1st. I want to just initially start out with the remembrance of my man Nipsey Hussle, who was shot yesterday evening, right down the street, literally here at the Crenshaw District. So a lot of fans out there, a lot of comments going around. We as people, we got a lot of kind of different opinions and points of view, and so just make sure just kind of keep the peace until the police department figure out what actually happened, because we got all kind of ideas and things that may not be the truth. But as we can see, people care for him, appreciate what he did for the community here. And, it's just a sad thing, as always.
Yeah, it was crazy at the gym yesterday. It wasn't like I was telling these guys before, but nobody really wanted to play. The mood wasn't about – everybody's playing hard, but the heart wasn't there.
Yeah.
And then because there was getting updates throughout the games, and right before our game, that's when it was pronounced dead. And
yeah,
it just was a somber scene for sure.
I mean, it's the interesting thing, just to kind of bring it back to sports, is that every kid, playing basketball with them slides, they got a headset on, and music is making an impact in their life in regards to how they're going to feel when they go out and they get on the court. And just to see the impact it has made, and with the NBA from a social media standpoint, of like Stephen Curry said, I met him last year. He was a great dude, So just it's well missed, and another one in the books where another opportunity just lost. So
just a lot of opinions about the documentary. I mean, like I said, nobody really knows except for the cat who shot him, whatever the beef was. So whatever it is, you just have to stay tuned.
Yep.
So Patience, exactly. So we have a special segment for you this month, all month long. We got all basketball, right? So we got all basketball. If you've seen the social media, at Sports Selective Media. Also, the new Instagram is Chasing the Hoop Dreams as well. We've got P4E, we got Pac Rim, we got LABC League, and the Inglewood Fellas, all brought to you for Sports Collective around basketball. So Don is here. He's going to start us off with the P4E League, and then we have a guest from his league that we're going to interview. So stay tuned.
Yeah, P4E, sports ministry, more than ball. But yeah, we have one of the top leagues in SoCal. We have our championship game tonight, 7:45 in Downey, and it's going to be P3 All-Stars versus Undisputed, two of the top teams in SoCal. And then the All-Star game is going to be crazy right after that.
That's
so
right.
It's going to be on and popping.
And we will be there broadcasting live and filming the game tonight at 7:45.
Yes, sir. And my guy, Drewski,
Drewski,
a.k.a. the light-skinned sniper, will be the guest, and he'll be in the All-Star game tonight. So doing his thing, lighting it up from threes, and he's a bully guard. So
let's do, like, what had you even want to create this P4E League, man?
Something that just I was begged into doing from my pastor 10 years ago, and I finally gave in after a few months. And you can't fight God.
Yeah.
So he keeps putting opportunities, and the last 2 years, God's definitely blessed it to being one of the top leagues in SoCal.
And what is your platform missing? Like, what are you missing as far as taking it to the level where you perceive it to be?
I don't think we're really missing anything. It's just opportunities to reach more and more people, because that's the true purpose of the sports ministry, is not just basketball, but our goal is to put one of the best leagues around, but also share about Jesus and help people become better men on and off the court.
I know from being from a religious background then to knowing as an adult that it's more of a relationship than it is religious conversation. So how do you meet people where they are so that they're comfortable instead of thinking it's a religious kind of a...
Yeah, we don't shove the gospel down people's throats. We build relationships, friendships, true relationships where I really do care about these guys. And a lot of these guys are hurt in different ways, especially from the church. And the goal is to really... We do love them, and then over time they'll realize that it's because Jesus loves us, and we love them, and we're not judging you. We meet them where we're at, but at the end, we don't expect you to be where you started.
Okay. You got something?
I mean, it's tough because you're dealing with grown men, I mean, what is the transitional part of your organization? I mean, to get them from a basketball standpoint, what is that whole transition? Because I know you got the tournaments and you're very, very active. So,
well, definitely the basketball-wise, the transition is to get them opportunities, showcases, and Drew just played one in Rosarito, and so different things like that. He actually played with Inglewood fellas, and so he knows those guys, and just open up opportunities and hope. We're praying that we could do our own showcases soon, and playing in the Drew next year season. So we're pretty much sure we'll be in there. So that's going to be huge for not just us, but the people that playing in our leagues.
So I'm probably going to ask you like how I felt this morning. Is your brackets broken?
It's been broken.
Yeah, it's been broken?
Yeah. So Duke, as soon as Duke.
Well, beyond the last Final Four, what was the biggest upset in your bracket?
North Carolina. North Carolina I almost picked them to win it. And I didn't expect them to get not just beat by Auburn, but they got destroyed.
I wanted UC Irvine.
Well, yeah, you were gone. Oregon when it done that.
We was out early.
16.
I was out early.
No, but it's been a great tournament though. The Final Four, Texas Tech is looking tough.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think that's what we want to see. You want to see teams develop, teams that never been there, get that opportunity. Of course, at the end of the day, it's a clock.
Oh, yeah.
You got to run it. You got to have IQ. You got to be developed. You got to be nurturing. You got to be humble. It's a lot of pieces go along with this, and they're still students. Yeah. Let's not forget that. They're still in college being students, so that's the amazing part of the whole
It's not by coincidence that none of these teams are led by freshmen.
Yeah.
It's the veteran teams that, like Michigan State, their point guard runs the show. Yeah. He's probably one of the least talented players physically, but he's the smartest player.
Yeah.
And that's why he's winning ball games.
All right, Don, well, we thank you, man, for opening up the show for us and sponsoring this segment with your league. I know you got to take off and get ready to get set up so we can get out there and broadcast your game tonight.
Yes, sir. It's going to be a good one, 7:45 Downey.
All right, cool. So we're going to take this first break. We're going to bring up Drewski and interview him, and then we'll be right back. Sports Collective TV, Chasing the Hoop Dreams, right here on MorseMediaLive.com. All right, Drewski. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm blessed, my brother. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Hey, did you see the game last night?
Oh, that was a good game.
But did you see the shot?
I lost money from that shot.
Oh, man, that shot was cold, man.
I hated it, but it was good. Damn. What's in those jeans?
You really want to know?
I do.
Exhaustion, muscle spasms, asthmatic issues, unexpected sickle cell trait crises.
Damn. Are you serious? When I was young, I found out I had sickle cell trait. My mom's told me, but I ain't have no knowledge of it. But when I got older, I had a child, and the doctor told me my daughter has sickle cell trait. Do you know the facts that both parents have sickle cell trait? There's a 50% chance the child may have the trait, and 25% chance the child may have the disease.
Hey, that's what's the count. Do you know that 2.5 million people in the United States have sickle cell trait, 300 million people globally? I didn't find out I had sickle cell trait until I was in the Army, 10 years. Next thing you know, I had a sickle cell trait exertion site.
Sickle cell? I thought that was a black gene or something.
Nah, man, the Latin community is number 2. 1 out of 36,000 babies are being born with sickle cell disease. You could be Caucasian, Mediterranean, European. You gotta know your bloodline, man. There is an inherited gene in our community that has been forgotten. The name is sickle cell trait. WDCONSCT, also known as What's the Count, is out to bring awareness, education, and prevention to people all over the globe. Want more information? Call us now at 323-215-5384 or visit www.wdconsct.org.
Media marketing experts here to help you grow your business into the next level and boost your sales. Visit us to learn more. AskIlya.com.
Waiting on you.
Hey, we back.
Welcome back.
We
Welcome back to Sports Selective TV. I'm your host and moderator in front, aka WDC, chasing the hoop dreams all month long of April. We just got done introducing P4E, and now we have one of his players. Drewski is in the building with us to share his Chasing the Hoop Dreams story with us. So, Drew, introduce yourself, man. We'll get started.
My name's Andrew Bornez. I was born in Bellflower, raised in Linwood, so I moved out to Riverside, Paris, out there in that area.
You still that way?
Yeah, I'm still out there.
Oh, you out there by me.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, Fontana.
Oh, Fontana? You're right next door.
You're next door.
Pretty much neighbors.
All right,
I
cool.
Go play hoops sometime.
Exactly.
You got to.
Not with him, no. Well, thanks for accepting the invitation to be here on our special segment called Chasing the Hoop Dreams. What was your brackets like as far as the NC?
Honestly, man, I didn't even try.
You didn't even try?
I didn't even try this year because I had a feeling like Duke was going to lose it, and I was going to put all my money in Duke. But I was like, you know what? I've seen this time and time again every year. Yeah, I just
no Zion hype.
No, I believe the Zion hype.
Yeah,
sure,
Zion hype. It's definitely.
You know, these boys in college know how to play.
Yeah.
You know, it's more than just athleticism and all that stuff. So you've seen it with Michigan State. You've seen it against UCF. You know, they were tested as freshmen. So
yeah.
I just knew it was a matter of time. You know, so I didn't want to bother this year.
Crazy. So give us some background, man. You know, when did you first pick up this basketball, man?
Man, I started at a young age. At like 5 years old, I want to say, playing with my dad outside in the front yard, and kind of just gradually grew over the years. Played travel ball. But for me, I was more or less like a late bloomer. It took me a long time for me to really kind of get basketball down. And one thing I remember, I was like maybe 13, 14 playing AAU. Mm-hmm. You know how they have too many kids on one team, they got to split them up?
Yeah.
Well, there was a third team for a 13-year-old team for like parents, you know, their kids to play because they're paying pretty much and not playing. So that's the team I was on at 13 years old, you know, and that's how it was for a couple of years till I got into high school. And, you know, I just kept working, kept grinding. And
now go back to that. Did you know that it was an overflow, or did you take it like you was like leftovers?
I took it over as I was leftovers.
So how did you deal with that? How did you deal with that?
You know, it was tough, you know, but my dad, he kept me focused, and he kept me on the straight and narrow to let me know that it's not about how you start, but how you finish. Okay. And that was just my biggest thing, because I see my friends playing, you know, the big tournaments and this and that, but it's just like, you know, I got to look past, I got to see the bigger picture image of it. It took a while, but, you know, I finally got it.
What you got, Callie? He was like,
I mean, you know, I've been there. So it's like, you know, I was an inner city program that was helping the kids develop. And if I get 5 to 8 kids that I could put on the floor and we can go. But I also seen those programs like the Compton Magics and all that, where the parents is paying a ton of money, paying for the coaches' trips, the room, all that.
So I make a spot.
I had a different recipe. So my recipe is each kid just show up at $25 on game day, and we're going to go eat pizza, if anything. But we focusing on basketball, where these programs, like he's mentioning, it'd be these parents want to have a statue of this is a winning program, first of all, right? They're going to recruit the most elite kids, second of all. They're going to give their kid an opportunity to actually possibly get recruited or get recruited to a good high school, right? So all this is pitched on basically the wins and losses of that program, right? So what happens is there'll be an abundance of kids, right? I'm going to take my top kids, I'm going to make that a team. I'm going to take the kids maybe undeveloped, I'm going to create another team. And then what happens is it demises them unless there's a really good coach for the second team. Because I've had those teams. They're just not good enough to play. But what you do is you play those kids with those kids in practice. So then you start developing and integrating kids.
So how was that for you? Did you play high school basketball? Or?
Yeah, I played high school basketball. Luckily, I made varsity my freshman year.
Okay.
Didn't play a lick. Didn't play 1 minute, you know. But it was a good experience. It was a great experience to learn that. Came back my sophomore year, still coming off the bench, played maybe 5 or 6 minutes. And it wasn't until my junior year where I got to actually start. But I wasn't really involved into the offense like that. I was still very timid on my end. coach didn't really have that much trust in me my junior year, and there was a couple of seniors ahead of me. So it was one of those where I had to wait my time until my senior year finally came, and I kind of grew out of my shell, and I became the player I was today.
So we know about 2% actually go to the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what was your chasing the hoop dreams starting out? Were you chasing to go to college?
But listen, just let's go back a little bit, just not to cut you off. But the chasing hoop dreams has been since he was at the 13U.
Yeah, but he didn't say what it was yet.
True.
He didn't say what it was yet.
For me, I mean, of course, everybody want to be in the NBA, you know what I mean? Who wouldn't want to be? But realistically, it was like, for me, I wanted to take it step by step. So first it was like, all right, I want to get this done by high school. I want to have the awards, the MVP for conference championship, all that. And it's like, all right, now I want to go D1.
All-attorney.
Yeah. Didn't get a chance to go D1. Didn't get any offers out of high school. So my next option was like, all right, JUCO. Now I got to really grind.
So how did you, when you didn't get the offers from high school, how did you manage that?
It was tough at first, especially my pops was battling cancer at that time. That's when I was graduating high school. So it was like one of those, like, do I want to leave to go somewhere out of state, or do I want to stay and just go JUCO? And, ultimately it came down to me staying here and going to JUCO, which is actually the best thing that turned out for me. And freshman year, didn't play that much, 5 or 6 minutes maybe. And then the year after that was a starter. We went 33-2, won the state championship. And I shot 49% from 3 the whole year.
Jeez.
It was a magical year.
There had to be some sort of special work ethic, or because you're dealing with something big. Cancer is big, and I mean, it's your parent, and that's the person who raised you. And you spoke earlier in regards to how your father was, a positive influence in your life. Mm-hmm. How did you balance that to just say, hey, I'm gonna do a JUCO level and continue to grow that opportunity for myself?
It was really tough at first. It's more of a mental challenge, but I was lucky, thank God, I had it in my freshman year. So it wasn't until he was gone, rest in peace, that I kind of set in, like, he was commuting from Paris all the way to Linwood every day, Monday through Friday, from 4:30 to 3:30, working at the high school, and still doing chemo and still coming home after. So it was just one of those things where after he was gone, I kind of sat back and realized, like, he sacrificed a lot just for me to have the opportunity to hoop. Mm-hmm. So why can't I go in this gym for 2 or 3 hours or whatever and just bust out all I can and just be the best player that I can be each and every day? So I just had to train my mental, just literally to not get tired, to not find an excuse to be tired, just to continue to just keep on going. And I never thought, looking back 3 years ago to now, I would be in this position to where I'm at, where I have the opportunities I have to meet Don, P4E, and just being where I'm at now. So, it's just by the luck of God and my father, definitely, for installing those tools in me.
You might as well just going to do a little shout out for Inglewood Fellas. So I understand you got a little opportunity with those guys.
Yeah. It was crazy how that happened, actually. We played them in the championship for a money tournament. And we was down at half, but I want to say for like 14-15. And second half just came back and I killed them. I'm not gonna lie.
Every player that plays on the team always like, I the one killed him. I killed him.
I know.
My 5 rebounds made a difference.
Hey, that's no lie though. No lie.
No lie. I wouldn't ever put extras on it. But it was just my day, my game. I just felt it. So I took advantage of that and I ended up winning, and they actually liked how I played. And then literally the week before they're going to go to Mexico, they just hit me up like, we got an open spot. We really liked how you played and so how you handle yourself. Like, would you like to come out here with us? And I was like,
and that's just good shout out to Inglewood Fellas. We're just letting you know, man, because we had us going to be some players here, but we'll get them here. We're going to be doing this for the next 5 weeks.
Definitely
appreciate you coming out, man.
Of course. Thank y'all for having me.
So what's next? I mean,
trying to go pro.
Yeah.
Any type of pro level at all, no matter where it is, where it's at.
Overseas, you're ready to go overseas?
Mm-hmm. While I'm still young right now, I'm just trying to play as much ball as I can to get it out the way.
No matter where you at, as long as they feeding.
Exactly. I'm getting fed, I got my check, and I'm good. I got a roof over my head. That's all I care about.
We interviewed a few cats from our old show, and they talked about how when you play overseas, like, you fighting for your spot.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so are you mentally prepared?
Oh, definitely.
To take that on?
I feel like I've been fighting majority of my whole life, just to prove myself to somebody else because they didn't believe in me or they didn't think, just off the talent, off the rip, just from seeing me. Yeah. So I always feel like there's a little chip on my shoulder to prove myself and just to prove that I belong out here, that I'm not just by some accident or just whatever. Like, I worked to get here, and that's just something I really take pride in myself. And every time I'm on the court, that's the reason why I just compete so hard and I play so hard, is because I've seen my dad do things he didn't want to do, you know what I mean? And really sacrifice for myself. So it's just one of the things I take personal to heart. And it's just,
I mean, you think about it, you going into the league is just about as hard as going overseas because only so many American players can play.
Yep.
So, you know, it's still, you know, you got to look at it from a lot of different mental aspects, you know, because you're looking at food, you're looking at culture, you're looking at, you know, all that changes, you know. So, I mean, we had a shout out to Mr. International, you know, Hirsch, who, you know, kind of explained how he had to learn Mandarin, you know, just when, you know, he was over there to just kind of survive and live. If not, you know, they was going to take advantage of you. So
yes, they will.
Yeah.
So before we get out on this break, so why is your social media presence important to you?
I just think it's important just to get your name out there. You know, especially nowadays how social media is, and just all it takes is just for one person to like you, regardless of where they at and all that stuff. So it's just good to put your stuff out there, whatever you believe in, your craft, your work, whatever it is. Just put it out there for somebody to like. Somebody will. They'll respect that. And most importantly, I just think, especially at this time of age, it's just very important to use social media to our advantage while we still can.
Yeah. And shout out to your social media if you want to give it out to
Get the handles out there.
Million _ Drewski 10. 3 eyes on that.
3 eyes on the Drewski?
Yeah.
Where'd that name come from?
Senior year for college. It was senior night, and my Australian teammate, you know, I was thinking about changing my name to Drizzle, because we were going to make little warm-up shirts and have nicknames on the back, so I was thinking about Drizzle. He was like, no, I like Drewski better. And I was like, you know what? That actually sounds pretty right. I like that.
So it's stuck.
It's stuck on that point. Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Drewski in the building with us. We appreciate you, man, for coming on the show. And I'm sure you'll be back.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll see you tonight at the game.
All-Star
So
game.
appreciate it. All right, this is Chasing the Hoop Dreams right here on Sports Collective TV, MorrisMediaLive.com. Shout us out. What's the count? We'll be right back.
I'm actually left-handed. So.
Yeah, what was that? This episode was brought to you by P4E. Visit P4E.com, or take that back, P4E at playingforeternity.com.
The Consortium of Health and Military Performance, also known as CHAMP, of the Uniformed Services University of Health and Science, known as USUHS, is conducting a study to understand a possible genetic link between sickle cell trait, known as SCT, and exercise-related events, known as EREs, such as exertional rhabdomyolysis, muscle damage, heat stroke, and or collapse. We are inviting African American men and women with sickle cell trait and their family members to participate. Participating in the study will require you to complete a health history questionnaire, a form authorizing our study physician to gather health information from you and your healthcare provider, as well as a one-time blood donation. In order to qualify for the study, you must meet the following criteria: be African American, be sickle cell trait positive, be able to read, speak, and understand English, be between the ages of 18 and 80, and currently not being treated for any mental or psychological disorders. Participation is completely voluntary, and your decision will not impact your healthcare. The results for this study are for research purposes only and are not intended to directly benefit any individual for confidentiality reasons. However, the results of this study are intended to help better shape policies and associated health risks affecting the SCT community. Participants may be compensated for their time. To join the study, or if you would like additional information regarding the study, please contact the study team by phone, area code 240-479-9514, or email sctstudy-ggg@usuhs.edu.
AskAlien.com. Media marketing experts here to help you grow your business into the next level and boost your sales. Visit us to learn more. AskAlien.com.
TV with the special segment of Chasing the Hoop Dreams. We just got done having that segment brought to you by P4E. That's playingforeternity.com right here on Sports Selective TV.
We're still waiting on Pac Rim?
No, I think Pac Rim is here. Yeah. So up next is Pac Rim. Fredo and myself and Big Al was there 2 weeks ago on Sunday, and I walked in the gym, jumped on the mic, pulled out the camera, and man, I mean, that league was off the chain. And so we had an opportunity to be introduced to Don from Pac Rim by our Don.
Mm-hmm.
You met him probably a couple weeks before.
Yeah.
That was my first time meeting him last Sunday. And
very timely guy. He was perfectly on time.
He was on time?
He was perfectly on time.
Time management is important, man. Especially if you run in a league, what is that, 70-something teams or something?
Yeah, I think he said 75 teams in the league.
So let's get the headphones and let's see. You're live at Sports Collective.
Yes. Hey, how you guys doing?
Hey, Don, how you doing?
Doing good, doing good.
Everything's good, man. So we want to thank you for taking the time out to be a guest on the show and also sponsor this segment for Pac Rim. And so just do me a favor and just kind of introduce yourself, and then we'll get into a quick conversation.
Yeah, this is Don Raimundo. I run Pac Rim. We started back in 1991. So I think we're in season 84. We're about to finish season 84 and start season 85 on May.
So you are in season 84.
Yeah.
How does he calculate that? How many seasons in a year? How many
does he calculate?
How many seasons in a year?
I do three seasons a year, and I've been doing this for 1991.
We having some technicals. Hey Don, hold on 1 second. We got some little technical stuff. But so you got 80. You said 80.
80 season 85 coming up.
85 coming up.
Season 85.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you manage all these leagues, man?
Well, like I said, I've been doing it for 26 years now. So 28 years actually. So just practice and some good team captain.
Sorry, if you could
I
turn
can't
it
hear
up in the booth.
You guys can hear me.
I ain't that old.
So we getting the headphones straight down real quick.
Yeah.
So Don, so what do you, I mean with that many leagues, teams actually going? I mean, you got assistants? Like, are you the producer? Like, what are you like?
Well, I have 3 different regions. I have Los Angeles, Glendale, Monterey Park, and West Covina.
Okay.
Each one of those regions, I have a commissioner to run the league for me.
Okay.
So, like I said, after 10 years, I said I need help. I mean, it was growing. It was, like I said, when I started, this was just supposed to be me and my friends.
Okay.
But then, word of mouth, and next thing you know, it became a business for me.
And do you have any? What's your relationship to basketball?
Well, like I said, I used to play. I wasn't very good. Okay, so I became the team captain for me and my friends.
Okay.
And I'm the one that collecting money, organizing, and then I just felt like the league we were playing wasn't very organized. So I said to myself, you know what, I could do a better job. So that's how I got started in Montebello High School, actually.
Okay. And so what is your ultimate goal for your league? I know we have this segment called Chasing the Hoop Dreams, and so I know you've with these different teams, and how, like, what are you affording these players?
Well, my goal is, of course, to keep growing and giving everybody opportunity to play. That's why the one you worked on last week was my elite division. I actually have Division 1 through Division 4. So the level, so people could enjoy themselves. Like this one team said they never won a championship before, and now they're in my league and they won a championship. They were 0-8, and they end up winning the Division 4 championship. So I love seeing that. I love seeing guys who never had trophies in their life before win something.
So I mean, you got a great league, and the first guy is dealing with ministry and sports, and you deal with a different, you deal with a culture that's Pan Asian? Is that best to say?
No, I mean I have maybe 40% Asian and open, and I follow the PIPA rule, more like what's Asian, like Australian, Russian. It's not really. When you say Asian, it's not really just Chinese or Vietnamese. It's more like well-rounded Asian.
Right. So and we chasing hoop dreams, but just letting you know that the basketball is so diverse. You have a league that caters to a group of individuals that are still out there just want to play ball. I mean, that's what this whole show is about. It's like playing ball. Yeah. So.
Playing ball, like I said, the lowest division, you will see they're the most loyal. But they come in on time, they have nice uniform, and they're not spoiled. I mean, they're just there to play basketball.
Would you say your league is missing anything? Like, are you at the level of you want to be, or what are you striving for next?
Oh no, I'm not. No, I want to keep growing and get to like Orange County, get to Carson, get to Inland Empire. I mean, my goal is just to keep
Yeah,
going.
some big goals. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, once you
wanna
give
do
a couple...
I was like an NBA format where basically, the East will play the West after they're winning their region and their conference, and they play against the winner of, let's say, Carson, and maybe someday Northern California.
Definitely.
I know one thing that you're doing really wonderful with is basically having sponsors to be able to kind of help you from a financial standpoint. So this is your opportunity. If you got any sponsors you wanted to give a shout out to that's helped you over the years, we want to give them that exposure.
Well, definitely TCL. They've given away TVs to most volleyball players. They've given a TV for best defensive. They've given a TV for what do you call it? Most improved. So they've really helped me financially. They're giving money for the website. They're giving the school I use money for banners to hang in their gym. So the gyms I use, they're very happy with me because they're getting money from TCL. And TCL also gives plaques for like Player of the Week. I also have Jerzilla, who gives T-shirts every week for Player of the Week.
Wow.
So those are guys that I work with, and like I said, I bought a TCL TV. I order T-shirt from Jerzilla. I also get funding from Citizens Bank, or Citizens Business Bank. I bank with them. So the people that I use to sponsor me, I support them also.
Mm. And Don, with such a variety of different players, like, what do you see from your vantage point of mental health and things like that? Like, what is your perspective on that? Keeping your
on mental health.
Yeah, keeping your players and teams.
I think they come down there to get some exercise and get some, like this is their weekend. You know what I mean? Like basically to get fit and also just to get stressed out from the work week. And I could see that because I do the same thing. You know what I mean?
It's a balance.
We all go to the gym just to get, like I said, for me, I get more sleep when I exercise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think these guys just to get their it's funny because Mother's Day, I don't have games. Right? That's Mother's Day. We don't play on Mother's Day. But Father's Day, everybody wants to go to the gym.
All the dads is out in the gym balling for their families, huh?
They would rather play basketball than be home barbecuing the $40.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I think it helps a lot mentally and physically just to play rec basketball league.
Definitely. And
a lot of people after high school, they don't play anymore.
Right.
So this is a place for them to go, and we try to offer them, stats and shout out in the Instagram or Facebook and pictures that we do for them.
Right. And I guess you answered my question to you, like when you hear Chasing the Hoop Dreams, like what does that mean to you for your leagues?
Well, I also have my goal, and I've talked down about this is help out some of these players that want to play overseas, and hopefully they could get a job out there, you know what I mean? And if not, maybe they could start, their own business, training kids, playing basketball, and get some kind of, job doing that. Like I said, prior to this, I helped out maybe 10 to 12 Filipinos to play overseas.
Yeah.
They got discovered through Pac Rim, so it's nice to see that.
So, I mean, I guess my question is, you 75 teams. Quite sure you've seen a lot of families, and over the years, it's at 84 seasons. Has there anyone that you did, as far as storytelling, that a particular family or a kid that just kind of made an impact in your life and are in the league for you?
Well, the very first guy that we helped to go to the Philippines named Jimmy Alapag. He's like 5'4", you know what I mean? And he never got an opportunity because he's so short. But he never gave up the dream of playing basketball. And he played. I think he played Upland High School. And then after that, he went to Laverne. I mean, he's always been undersized. Then he transferred to Cal State San Bernardino, Division II, and he finally got to the Philippines. and he was drafted number 10 because he was so short. And afterwards, he became the MVP that year, rookie MVP, and he just proved to everybody that it's not about the size, it's about the heart. And I love that story with that guy because, man, that guy, and now he's coaching in the Philippines.
Wow. So he went from playing
he
League.
I mean, he played in the Drew League. Back in the days in Carson, there was like another thing, not Drew League. They used to have a Nike Pro-Am League or something.
Wow.
And he's 5'9" now, dunking, but now he's retired, of course, coaching. But it's a love. I mean, they love the game. I mean, he never gave up. People always count him out. I mean, for him to be number 10 overall, he played for Cal State San Bernardino, and he went to the NCAA. But the Philippines thought he's too short. But they call him Mighty Mouse in the Philippines. So he proved everybody that, it's not about the height or the size, it's about the heart and the love for the game.
Definitely. And so give us what's coming up. I know you got your one league is about to end, and we were talking about with you doing the play-by-play April 7th and 14th. So I know you're coming to an end in one league. So you want to talk about that?
Yesterday we finished the conference championship. So now we know who the Eastern Conference champion and the Western Conference champion. This coming Sunday, April 7th, is the 7th or 5th. They're going to be doing the Pac-Rim champion. The best of the East will play the best of the West. And then the 14th, we're going to do the All-Stars, East versus West. So again, I'm copying the NBA format.
And you like that NBA format?
I love it. I can't do a college format because, it's too hard. But the NBA definitely.
Well, we got to ask you, what was the biggest upset in your bracket?
What's ahead?
What was your biggest upset in the NCAA March Madness bracket?
I had Duke going all the way.
He had Duke.
I think beyond Duke, was it something early on in the madness that really wrecked your bracket? Because it happens.
Well, actually, weird. Where I picked Yale too. So, but you're looking for that one team, right? But that did not work out too well. You know what I mean? And of course, UC Irvine. I'm from Irvine.
Yeah, that's who I had, man. That's who I picked, man. I wanted them, but it didn't work out. We was done early.
Right. You got to the parade.
They got by the first round, but I knew Duke was in trouble when the last two games they were barely winning.
Right.
So I knew eventually they're going to lose. So
right.
Anyway, it is what it is, right?
Exactly. Pretty much until next year.
Yep. Well, we'll see who they get next year.
Hey Don, we want to thank you, man, and again we were inviting anyone from your leagues, your divisions that want to come out and be live on the deck with us. We more than welcome because you're sponsoring this segment. So whoever we can get out here live with us would be value to us and to your league.
Yeah, I already talked to some of my players for them to show up next week.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, cool. And then prayers for your family. I know there's some things happening in your family, man. So again, prayers for your family. Thanks for taking time out of today too. So we appreciate you.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
So again, this is Sports Collective TV. I'm your host and moderator, Veronica WDC. We want to thank you so far for listening in. Up next, we got the LABC League coming up with our special guest here today, and then we'll be right back.
All right, so
.com for more information. This segment is brought to you by Pac Rim. Go to pacrim.com. Take that back. Go to pacrimsports.com.
The Consortium of Health and Military Performance, also known as CHAMP, of the Uniformed Services University of Health and Science, known as USUHS, is conducting a study to understand a possible genetic link between sickle cell trait, known as SCT, and exercise-related events, known as EREs, such as exertional rhabdomyolysis, muscle damage, heat stroke, and or collapse. We are inviting African American men and women with sickle cell trait and their family members to participate. Participating in the study will require you to complete a health history questionnaire, a form form authorizing our study physician to gather health information from you and your healthcare provider, as well as a one-time blood donation. In order to qualify for the study, you must meet the following criteria: be African American, be sickle cell trait positive, be able to read, speak, and understand English, be between the ages of 18 and 80, and currently not being treated for any mental or psychological disorders. Participation is completely voluntary, and your decision will not impact your healthcare. The results for this study are for research purposes only and are not intended to directly benefit any individual for confidentiality reasons. However, the results of this study are intended to help better shape policies and associated health risks affecting the SCT community. Participants may be compensated for their time. To join the study, or if you would like additional information regarding the study, please contact the study team by phone, area code 240-479-9514, or email sctstudy-ggg@usuhs.edu.
AskElia.com. Media marketing experts here to help you grow your business into the next level and boost your sales. Visit us to learn more. AskElia.com.
Got somebody you want to talk about, or got somebody out there that's interested in sharing their story about chasing the hoop dream, just give us a call. Make sure you go to our social media, Sports Selective Media, Instagram, and also Chasing the Hoop Dreams on Instagram as well.
Before you introduce the guests, I just, people, you probably wondering, like, what is Chasing Hoop Dreams to some degree, right? You're supposed to say yes. I got it. Yeah. I know you're a little nervous. So the Chasing Hoop Dreams was, really watching the whole development of kids at an early age that went through a transition of college, high school, and then came like the LABC leagues, where now they're still in this transition of sports, but they went through something. Right. But they stayed on path in regards to trying to figure out how they're going to get there. So just wanted to let the audience kind of know, what that Chasing Hoop Dreams segments is about, because these are real stories, real people about, the basketball community. So we just want to say thanks for coming. So tell the people who you are, man.
Okay. My name is Stefan Tarvin. I've been around basketball my whole life. Started from your local park leagues up to the ARC leagues, the double pump leagues, which a lot of people know about the pump and run tournaments, up through junior high, back in the AAU ball again, to high school ball. I'm a local guy out of the San Fernando Valley. Okay. I played at Taft High School back with Jordan Farmar, back in the Swaggy P day. That was our rival back then. Trevor Ariza was big out here at Westchester High. End up winning the championship, the LA City Championship in 2004. So just has been a long journey since pretty much 5 years old. Also.
So 5, you got this basketball. What was, a kid at 5 years old? What were you like at 5?
5 years old, more so from the basketball perspective, just enjoying the game. I loved it since day one. Watching, your favorite stars. My favorite player was Ray Allen back then. I thought he had the greatest jump shot in the world back then. But I loved it. Loved the game.
And then when did the mindset shift to like, hey, this is something I'm going to chase?
Real heavy, like 6th grade.
6th grade.
Once you start getting to that AAU level, it starts to
So shift. That's 13U.
Even a 12U.
12U, 13U.
12, 13U. And that's mainly, you get the pressure, it gets competitive. You really see if you want to do it or not, or you want to just fold up and try another sport like most other kids do.
Right.
But that's when I knew for a fact that I wanted to pursue this.
And what was your position like? What would you do?
I could play every position, but...
Wait.
Could play every position?
We talk about he was like 12, though. We talking 12.
Oh, he was probably bigger than all the kids at 12.
Yeah, back at 12, I was a 3, small forward. I played 1 and 2 in high school. A little bit of 3, depending on who we were playing, if there's injuries and stuff like that. But favorite position probably was the 1, being the point guard.
Your mental toughness, like, who do you equate that to? Or
as far as like in the NBA?
Yeah,
like
no. Your mental toughness, like growing up and
Where'd
playing
they come
basketball,
from?
like where they come from for your mental toughness.
Background, definitely. Being a only child, being a shy child at that. I was timid also at times, and then getting, pushed around. I was probably about 130 pounds for struggling.
They call that
weight.
bullying today.
Yeah, bullying nowadays. Just that, and then once again, punched around and moved around in the paint. That's, just games overall built my toughness overall. So that's where it comes from, and then just overall things you go through in life.
Yeah, I know he's got some AAU probably questions or something.
Nah, it's a LABC league, right?
Yeah.
That's
I started off in the LABC league.
First
he said when it first, so yeah,
down in the Mission.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
so that's because this is LABC league segment. So interesting. Community conversation about the LABC league is like it was kind of really one of the only leagues of its kind. That was in LA, where guys that felt that they could go out there and play and put together teams. You know what I'm saying? I mean, to see the growth, what do you see far as player growth within the league?
Definitely, the level of competition is a lot better, a lot more organized.
What was it like when you started?
Organized, but a lot more knucklehead,
pickup
ball kind of players coming along. Mm-hmm. Now you have like
super fouls,
super fouls, the hacker shacks and those kind of guys back then. But now you have the more guys that take the game serious, not just doing it for a workout, or also the people that actually love the game. Mm-hmm. Like not a lot of guys who show up to try to impress the girls on the sideline. Shooting.
Look, y'all old games. There ain't no girls on the sidelines anyway.
It still is.
But they bring that girl.
They bring that girl. They ain't coming by droves. You know what I'm saying?
It's a lot, a little slight difference.
So what were you chasing before the LABC league? What were you chasing as far as chasing hoop dreams? Were you going for the college?
Okay, for me, definitely, I was getting a scholarship. I'm trying to go D1. That was number one for me. I always wanted to. Own my own business, which I do own a business now. I own a clothing line now. And, getting a business degree was the key, and then getting a scholarship, if possible, was a key along the way. So
in terms of your really work ethic, you just had short-term goals to get to the bigger goal.
No,
because when you hear these stories, sometimes it's like, I want to get to the NBA, but to hear your story, it's like, I want to get here, to get here, to get here.
Right. Yeah, no, it's kind of like we all have NBA dreams,
right?
But
the reality
is, if you don't have stepping stones along the way,
that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah. Then most likely you'll just crumble and it won't happen.
Right.
So, coming from high school, you start to see at each level as you get older, the dreams become more of a reality as you start to accomplish it. So, for me, especially at the high school I went to, I was under about 4 Division I players already, so I didn't get a lot of playing time until my senior year, majority of the time. So I got the exposure, but my recruitment came strictly from AAU, not really the high school that I was at, due to the amount of playing time.
What do you, when you look back at that statement you just made, like what can you say for those other student athletes out there who are deep in the bench, who don't get the looks or the exposure? What do you tell them?
As far as playing, you just got to stick with it. There's times I felt like quitting.
It's humility
or
part.
Transferring to another school.
Right.
That's the first thing that goes with it. But if you can play, you can play. It's going to be the same whether you're at a weaker level school or whatnot. The coaches on the higher level, they're all, if you're the next Zion Williams, they're going to get you no matter where you're coming from.
Well, he's really actually talking about a transition. So the transition was if you got recruited, you didn't get recruited from your AAU. You got recruited from your high school. So the recruiters are actually seeing your high school stats because they know AAU is razzle dazzle. So now AAU become in his era where basically that's the razzle dazzle. We want those kids. Now what's happening now is AAU is now tied into high school programs. Mm-hmm. So now they're playing all year round. So you've actually watched 20 years of basketball transition of how kids are getting recruited.
Right.
Before we get to your brand, what had you in your chasing the hoop dreams in the LABC league? Because you don't play anymore. So when was it? When did you know, like, okay, I'm done with basketball at this level. I'm just gonna go and do my
officially done. But I started having kids.
Ah,
you know, those 9-month layovers with the girlfriend. You get bigger, start gaining weight, your muscles start cramping up. That's when it officially started. And then, you know, just along the way, getting more involved in business. Time is usually the key. And you know, I still love the game. I still will help out, and so on and so forth when I can. But as far as me trying to play professionally, or those days.
So what's the vision for your brand?
Getting more exposure. I recently sponsored a couple basketball teams. The last team I sponsored at the 3-on-3 Nike tournament last year was the Basketball Beauties, which is a women's team.
Oh yeah,
so
we sponsored the LABC League, male and females.
Got it.
At the Nike,
yeah. So getting more of that. Trying to do some stuff with the Drew League, definitely LABC, obviously, and anywhere throughout the community or any part or anywhere.
Are you still with the Basketball Beauties as a sponsor, or are you just?
I still help them. I'm not a full-time sponsor,
okay.
But when they reach out, I'm definitely open arms for them.
And you should give a shout out to your name of your brand so people can find
the name of my clothing brand is called Expensive Taste Clothing. You can see it online at expensive-taste-clothing.com. Instagram is expensive-taste_clothing. So,
how'd you come up with that? Besides, it speaks for itself, obviously. But
yeah, it's more so a brand. People hear expensive taste, they think that it's pricey, things like that. So I used to own a tattoo shop on Florence and Western.
Talking to a marketing guru. Oh my God.
On Florence and Western, and it was just, you know, being young and liking flashy stuff. So it's just, you know, things that people like every day and trying to achieve stuff. That's what the expensive side and the taste, because everybody's loves the finer things of life and is chasing, you know, the dreams to a bigger house, better credit, whatever it might be.
Right.
So that's kind of where it's always been installed in me.
Yeah.
That's just my personality.
What you got?
This segment is sponsored by LABC League, but we also have AskIlya.com, and we like to always talk to our sponsors, and you know, we do business development. We got 20-something, 50-something years in here in regards to media experience and giving exposures to brands and helping your social media and things of that nature. So it's always interesting when someone's in business for themselves and their business sound like a sentence. So, you know, so it's online, right?
Yes.
So then we get to talk to you about your click streams and see if we can get people to start purchasing more.
Is that what you're missing? Exposure for your brand? What are you missing?
Definitely exposure. I just recently updated my website. I had average website, a low grade kind of website. So it's just learning curves along the way.
See, then that's when we
get with the right people.
And then we'll add you SEO and we'll add you Google Plus, and
he does all that.
Yeah, so we do all that. So
got it. Yeah. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So when you hear mental health, like, what do you think about? There's so many, you know, conversations about the bullying and all that. So when you think about mental health, what comes to mind?
Mental health. I mean, some of the aspects as far as the bullying goes, that's tough.
Yeah.
It's kind of deep. I'll say this. It's not really right, some of the treatment and stuff that they kind of just throw at, you know, especially the younger children, just to kind of...
The medications
and things like that, because they just kind of wing it along until the problem becomes really serious. Other than that, I mean, it's a deep...
Yeah, that's why I brought it up.
Yeah, I'm just really trying to like make it into a smaller.
No, don't make it small. Just internet, so you can say what you need to say. It's like, there's no wrong answer. I mean, because it affects everybody. I dealt with it coming out of the military. I mean, so people deal with it in their own way. Our culture, black community, we don't really deal with it. So that's why I'm asking, because a lot of times it's like, don't talk about that stuff. But we're here to bring that conversation out to find out.
Yeah, I notice most young kids, especially, they hold everything in. That's how I was too, along the way. Just withheld everything in, and you really kind of like, a lot of these kids don't feel like they have anybody to talk to and reach out to. And I feel like just having somebody to talk about the situation will help them out more so than it actually being a mental problem or needing the medication.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what I take as far as the mental health from what I've seen.
Anything else you want to say before we let you get out of here, man?
But how'd your bracket go?
Oh yeah, the bracket.
So I'll be honest.
Okay,
Well,
well, Virginia. It is what it is.
I had Virginia to win it all.
Virginia?
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because
Why?
there's a Taft kid
Please tell us
on
why.
the team that's playing, so I gotta roll with them.
Okay, I got you.
The alma mater.
I got you.
So that was given. What blew my buster definitely was UC Irvine.
Okay.
See,
That
it wasn't just me.
That blew me. That one, the Gonzaga.
Yeah, that blew me. That's
Man,
when
That was the last one I had too. That was a
Gonzaga.
lot.
I had Gonzaga Duke. You know, that's what I was looking at. So,
And not even the one team that surprised me, that hurt me, was Villanova.
but I do feel accomplished that I got all the way to the final 8 before I was a wrap. Because normally it's your first bracket first. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Nah. I watched.
Nice
Actually, I
having you,
watched
man.
the women's.
Nice having you, bro.
on Saturday, NC State and Iowa. They were balling.
Girls get in.
The women were
That's
balling.
fundamental basketball right there.
Exactly. That's why I like
Yeah.
that. That's why I like that. All right, so we're gonna take this another break. Sports Selective TV, Chasing the Hoop Dream segment, all April. So next Monday, we got an all new guest brought to you by LABC League, P4E, Pac Rim, and Inglewood Fellas. All month long, right here on Morris Media Live, Sports Selective. Make sure you go to social media at Sports Selective Media and also at Chasing the Hoop Dreams on Instagram. We'll be right back.
Are we
This segment is brought to you by the LABC League. Visit labcleague.com for more information.
The Consortium of Health and Military Performance, also known as CHAMP, of the Uniformed Services University of Health and Science, known as USUHS, is conducting a study to understand a possible genetic link between sickle cell trait, known as SCT, and exercise-related events, known as EREs, such as exertional rhabdomyolysis, muscle damage, heat stroke, and or collapse. We are inviting African American men and women with sickle cell trait and their family members to participate. Participating in the study will require you to complete a health history questionnaire, a form authorizing our study physician to gather health information from you and your healthcare provider, as well as a one-time blood donation. In order to qualify for the study, you must meet the following criteria: be African American, be sickle cell trait positive, be able to read, speak, and understand English, be between the ages of 18 and 80, and currently not being treated for any mental or psychological disorders. Participation is completely voluntary, and your decision will not impact your healthcare. The results for this study are for research purposes only and are not intended to directly benefit any individual for confidentiality reasons. However, the results of this study are intended to help better shape policies and associated health risks affecting the SCT community. Participants may be compensated for their time. To join the study, or if you would like additional information regarding the study, please contact the study team by phone, area code 240-479-9514, or email sctstudy-ggg@usuhs.edu.
All right, again, welcome to Sports Selective TV. Moderating here is AKWDC. Thank you so far for listening in. We've had a full segment. This is the first segment full on with Sports Selective TV with the Chasing the Hoop Dreams all month of April. We had P4E, we had Pac Rim, we had LABC League, and now we're going to touch on the Inglewood Fellas. They're not a league, but they play in leagues all over the state. So as you heard earlier, they was just in Rosarita playing basketball. They be chasing them bags. For real, he's no joke. So Cali Sportsman is going to touch on the LABC League. They're not here today, but we just still want to rep them and let them know, that they got the spot here, and also to let you know who the Inglewood Fellas are.
I mean, just an amazing story for me because the basketball community is what it is, a basketball community. So Jose, who's actually the leader and founder of Inglewood Fellas, was a little kid at 10, 11 years old, just learning how to play basketball and play football. And I was just the parent of that lived next. I didn't even live next door. It was it was my kid's grandmother lived next door. So when I go pick him up, I'm in the middle of the street playing football, and I guess you probably know this story because he told you. He said, "Hey, he got inspired by that." So here he's an adult now. I've created this league, this competitive league, which he actually does. He chased the bag, get these guys paid, and not only that, he's giving him opportunity, because I think he's had over the last couple of years of a lot of kids are getting, going overseas or what have you. And I think he just talked about it, and he's trying to build this nonprofit. So he's really trying to get engaged, but it's overwhelming when, as you know, when you got to do it all.
But it's crazy because we were having this show, and I ran into Inglewood fellas and was talking about bringing him on the show, and then put these two together, and they knew each other. It was like, wait a minute, how this is from two different perspectives, and then it's
the basketball.
It was like, he's about Ilya Daly. Like, I know him. Like, I was a little kid in the neighborhood. I was like, what? That's my partner. He's like, yeah.
Yeah, I got a chance to see them. They're one of the newer teams out of the LABC decade since it's been around, and they're pretty talented. They've been dominating.
Any given night. Yeah. Don't sleep on them. Any given night.
And just the interesting thing, I mean, when you talk about, I think I was kind of, when we started doing the LABC League and going around hanging out, and Inglewood fellas came, and I think the first thing I asked him was like, so, where's the gym? Where do y'all practice? And you coming from the AAU world like me, it's like, you got to have a gym, 3 days a week, got to be practicing somewhere. They're like, nah, they just show up game night with their $5 ref fees and let's go. So that's where I think some of the mixed chemistry with those leagues come in, is because either those guys got to play together or not. And any given night, everybody's going through something. And they're at a stage where the IQ levels are different. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you're dealing with, teaching someone something. They're supposed to know as much as they need to know in order to perform their position. So it's just kind of interesting that, he has glued kids together or young men together that just show up on any given night and just give you the business.
Yeah,
you remember those days?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Was there a crew that you had? I know my day in college, we had our crew. We showed up to every 3-on-3, 5-on-5 with 5-6.
Yeah, we had a certain swagger to us. We had to walk in.
And they all wasn't basketball players. Some of them was baseball players and football players. But when we showed up, it was the mentality of playing together and respecting, okay, this is what you do. You're going to take them left, Ilya. We already know. So.
Well, why you stop?
I don't know.
We got
people waving at us here. Hey, that's the fans, y'all. We got fans in here. So,
no, but yeah, so I get it, man. It's like we got beat by 4 Hispanic cats, dude. And the one dude showed up in the gym. He was like, no, y'all could go ahead. And they came on and gave us the business. It was like, the gym was like from 6:30 to 9:30. They stayed on from probably about 7:30 till the gym closed, and they was just
running everybody.
And you would like short, stocky, fat, like not tall, but you could tell they played together.
I mean, you can look at some of the grown men in these leagues, and you wonder like, wow, big dude, but he can give you the business.
Yeah, that's how the chemistry is with the NCAA tourney. It's not really your Dukes, the teams that have the one and done. It's your Davidsons, those teams where all players stay together for those 4 years. That's what makes the teams better. Like UC Irvine, for example. Nobody's seen that coming. I know. But they play together.
Cool. Yeah. Hey, we thank you. Well, thanks for being on the show, man. We appreciate you. Again, this is Sports Selective TV, chasing the hoop dreams all month long, right here on Morris Media Live. Hit us up on the social media at Sports Selective Media and at Chasing the Hoop Dreams if you want to be a guest and tell your story, Chasing the Hoop Dreams. You cool?
I thought you was going to do the drop. I talked to all through the drop.
Yeah, let me do the drop.
Now I'm waiting on the drop.
All right, cool. We'll be back next week.
Cali Sportsman in the House. Ask Ilya, baby.
Giants win 12-7. From their first season in the NHL.
Are you going to do a drop?